So today in first grade, we are going to be learning a little bit more about fractions, specifically wholes, halves, and quarters. Okay, so yesterday we were learning a little bit about fractions, right? Who remembers? And we were talking about equal and unequal, right? So who remembers? Who can tell me with a raised hand, what is a fraction? Okay, great. Calling a couple students, maybe. Okay, so those were two great examples. So a fraction, remember, is just a number that shows how many parts. And yesterday we were talking about equal and unequal parts, right? We showed the example of a pie. We cut our apple pie into different pieces. And when those pieces were the same size, we said they were equal. And when they were different size pieces, we said they were unequal. Okay. So today we're still talking about fractions, but we're going to learn a little bit more about those parts once we cut them up. So we're going to learn about wholes, halves, and quarters today. So let's start with the video. Eyes up here. Okay. Active listening. Okay, we'll get started with our video.
When you have a sandwich, do you like to cut it into two pieces or four? If it is cut into two, we say it is cut in half. If it is cut into four, we say it's cut into quarters. We're often cutting things in half for all different reasons.
Okay, so it's basically a 2-minute video on YouTube just explaining wholes, halves, and quarters. It gives a good overview of the concept, some good examples, mostly using food that the kids understand. So piece of direct instruction, hopefully to get them going, and then I'll move into the direct instruction myself. So I might say to the class, so what was the first example that we saw in the video? What did the boy start out with? He had one whole sandwich. One whole sandwich. So I have my sandwich here with me today. What does that look like in real life? This is my one whole sandwich. So how can I write that on the board? And presumably this would be projected across the board or smartboard. And they'd follow along with me. So here's my sandwich. Okay, that's how I might draw it. Looks like a square to me. Okay, so let's say I brought this sandwich for lunch and it looks pretty tasty, but I'm really not that hungry. I don't think I can eat the whole sandwich. What could I do if I wanted to make it into smaller parts so I don't eat that much now? I want to save some for later. I could cut it, right? I could cut it into two parts, and that we call cutting in half. So now I have 2 parts. I'm going to eat this one part now, save the other part for later. So I'm going to eat 1/2 of my 2 halves that I've created by cutting my whole down the middle, right? So how can I show that on the board? What did I do? So I drew my square, I drew my sandwich, and then I cut it in half. I made 2 pieces, 1, 2. When we cut something in half, in 2 pieces, we say we made halves, okay? I ate this piece, didn't I? This is gone, this is in my tummy. So I ate 1 out of the 2 pieces, 1/2 of the sandwich. And how do we write that? We say 1 of 2 parts. This is my 1/2, okay? So let's say the next day I come to school with a sandwich for my lunch and I'm going to sit and eat with 3 of my friends, and I decided that I wanted to share with them, just like in the video. We saw them share a pizza, right? So today I need to create 4 equal parts, 4 parts of the sandwich so that I can have a piece for myself and 1 piece for each of my 3 friends I'm having lunch with, since I'm sharing. So what can I do with my whole sandwich if I want to create 4 equal parts? What are we going to do? Right, just like we started off, we're going to cut in half, and then I'm going to cut it again down the middle the other way. And now I have my 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. I have cut my sandwich into fourths, and I'm going to have my 1 out of 4 pieces. I'm going to have 1/4 of the sandwich to eat myself. How can we draw that on the board? Let's see. just like before. Here's my square sandwich I came to school with. But today, I'm not just going to cut it in half for myself and save some. I want to cut it again so that I have 1, 2, 3, 4 equal pieces for my friends and I. And so now I have cut it into fourths. You say fourths. Okay? And so I ate, how many? 1 piece, just 1 for myself. Shade that out. 1 out of how many? 1 of 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. And that's how we write our 1/4. Okay, so could we also do this with different shapes? We could, right? We saw the pizza in the video. What shape was the pizza? A circle. Could we cut the pizza in half just like this? Yes, we did. 1, 2 parts. 1 out of 2 is 1/2, right? And could I also cut this into fourths if I wanted to share with friends? I could. Right across the middle. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 of 4 parts. And now we call it fourths. Okay. So that would be the direct instruction piece, and then I'm going to come into a little bit of practice as a class, and we're going to complete an anchor chart to show what we know here. Okay, so here's our anchor chart because we're going to be sorting these fractions we just went over. Whole, right? We had our 1 whole, halves when we cut it into 2, and fourths when we cut it into 4 equal pieces. So at your desk, you each should have 3 sticky notes. There's a blue sticky note, a pink sticky note, and a yellow sticky note. Okay, we are going to turn your square sticky note into one of these fractions. You're going to write on these to create your fractions, just like we saw in the video and like I showed on the board. We're going to use our lines to cut into halves, wholes, and fourths. Okay, so everyone, please take your blue sticky note. On your blue sticky note, I want you to write 1/2. Show me how can we divide our square sticky note into halves. Show me. Okay, thumbs up when you're done. Okay. Okay, now, on your yellow sticky note, grab your yellow sticky note, and you are going to show me with your pencil a hole. How can you show me? 1 whole square, 1 whole sticky note. What does that look like? Do you have to do anything to your sticky note? We'll see. We'll see, won't we? Okay, thumbs up when you're done. Okay. And then finally, on your pink sticky note, did I say pink already? The third color, okay. On your pink sticky note, I want you to take your pencil and you're going to show me fourths. How can we show fourths? What can we do to divide our square sticky note to show fourths? Thumbs up when you're done. Okay, and the kids are done. So then I'll have them by table group come up. Let's just say I have them in 6 groups. Okay, tables 1 and 2, come up and show me your sticky note for holes. Let's just say, for example, they come up, they put their sticky notes up there, and then we ask the class, okay, does that look right? Do we have all of our holes in the first column for holes? Okay, then I'm gonna call tables 2 and 3. Come put your sticky notes up. For halves, how did we draw halves? And I'll ask the class again. And I'll do the same thing, groups 5 and 6. Come on up and show me fourths. How did you draw fourths, and did they do that? Okay, so now we have our anchor chart. Then we've kind of gone over together in a different way, holes, halves, and fourths. And then we're going to break into centers. I'm going to briefly model for the kids what they would be doing at each center. And this is, of course, assuming that prior to this, we've gone over our routines, we've practiced them, they know how to get in their groups, they know where to grab the materials for things, we've gone through centers, our transitions are smooth, and you know, we can do this. So, okay, at the first center, you're going to be doing a fraction sort. So I'm going to take my scissors and cut out these shapes on the bottom here. and I'm going to take a look at my first shape, and it's asking me to sort halves and fourths, a lot like the chart we made here. So this first shape I cut out, we'll do it together. It's cut in half. So I'm going to glue here in this column half, and I'm going to do the same thing for the rest of the shapes. We're going to cut out each shape. Take a look at the shape. Has it been cut into halves or fourths? You're going to take a look, decide, and then paste it into the column for either halves or fourths. Okay, at the next station, it's our coloring station. So you're given a whole page of shapes, just like we've been looking at. And they are cut either in whole, half, or fourth. And so you're going to read the instruction. First graders, I know we can follow instructions. What does it say? Color the shapes showing one whole blue. So I'm going to find a whole shape. Here's a whole circle. I'm going to take my crayon and I'm going to shade that in blue. So you're going to do the same thing for each shape that you see here, following the instructions. Okay, if it's a whole shape, it's blue. If it's 2 equal shares in halves, you're going to color it red. And if it's 4 equal shares or fourths, it's going to be green. All right, in our next station, we're going to have spin and make. So you'll be with a partner in your table groups, and you'll each take turns. One of you is going to spin the wheel, and wherever it lands, let's say it lands here on square and half. So I am going to make the shape that it's asking me to make. In this case, it's a square, and we're going to use our Play-Doh. You're going to take your Play-Doh, and I'm going to make that shape. What was my shape? A square. So I'm going to take my cutout, press it down. I've made my shape. There's my square, and I'm going to now make the fraction that they've asked me, 1/2. So how do I make half of my square? Just like this. So you and your partner are going to take turns spinning the dial and making the shape and the fraction that it asks you. And then finally, we're going to be at our fourth center at your Chromebooks. In the school I was in, everyone had a Chromebook, and they could pull up different educational apps. So this would be Geometry Game for first graders on Splash and Learn. So we do each of these centers, and then we'd come back together, assuming they put everything away and we're, good